So I've said it before and I'm going to say it again. College football recruiting remains one of my favorite things in the world. And today we're going to highlight a battle that really exemplifies why. Because five-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo out the state of Missouri made a massive decision today, choosing the Texas Longhorns over the like of Missouri, Miami, and Texas A&M. We need to highlight why this is such a big win for the Texas Longhorns, what this means, and everything in between. But before we can, as always, y'all know the drill, I have got to hear from you. Hop down to the comments, give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Are you excited that Ryan Wingo chose to commit to Texas? Let me know what you're thinking. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification as we are less than 1,000 subscribers away from 20,000, and I would love to have you a part of this unbelievable community. And if you enjoyed the content, be sure to like and comment down below. But having said all that, let's jump right into this. First and foremost, who is Ryan Wingo? Well, as I alluded to in the intro, Ryan Wingo is one of the most coveted prospects in the class of 2024. Specifically, if we look at the 24/7 Sports Composite, he comes in as a top 30 player in the nation, the number 24 prospect regardless of position, the number 7 wide receiver, and the number 2 player in the state of Missouri. But I do think it's important to point out where 24/7 Sports themselves have Wingo ranked. Because if we look at where 24/7 Sports ranks him, he's a top 5 player in the nation. He's the number 2 wide receiver in the nation, and once again the number 2 player in the state of Missouri. And when we look at what this means for the Texas Longhorns, this launches them all the way inside the top 15 to the number 13 class in the nation. And Texas currently is the only class within the top 15 per 24/7 Sports to have less than 20 prospects in their class, as they currently sit with 19. A testament to the job Steve Sarkisian and staff have done. And we've talked about this time and time again, that there are several ace recruiters on this staff, and it doesn't surprise me whenever they get big-time wins. This is just the latest big-time win. But this is the third 5-star to find their way into this Texas class, as Ryan Wingo now joins Baker and Colin Simmons. And in the case of Baker, it made complete sense because Kyle Flood's one of the most elite offensive line recruiters in the nation. We've talked about this time and time again. He did it at Alabama, he continued to do it at Texas, and he continues to flex his muscles on the recruiting trail. When we talk about Colin Simmons, that was a massive win and one that cannot be understated. Because we have to talk about Colin Simmons with the understanding that that was the biggest position of need for this current Texas Longhorns recruiting class, that edge position. And really, whenever we talk about Steve Sarkisian at Texas, we have to give credit where it's due. He has been fantastic on the recruiting trail. Last cycle, the biggest need for the Texas Longhorns was inside linebacker. And what did they do? They went out and got the number 1 inside linebacker in the nation, Anthony Hill, 5-star out of Denton Ryan, Texas. Fast forward a year, your biggest need is edge. What do? You sign the number 1 edge in the state of Texas, 5-star edge, Colin Simmons, and per a lot of the recruiting sites, the number 1 edge in the nation as well. That's what I mean whenever I say this staff, this Texas Longhorn staff, recruits different than other staffs. Because anytime I ever talk about Texas recruiting, and Texas fans, I apologize in advance, you've heard this time and time again. Anytime Texas gets a win, I always have a comment that says, but Texas has always recruited well. While that's true, they have not recruited like this. They have not recruited full, healthy meals. That's what Steve Sarkisian is giving you. You are getting everything you need out of a recruiting class, and it's the reason why Texas's expectations continue to rise under Steve Sarkisian. But we really need to hone in on why this was such an entertaining battle, and in order to understand that, we have to understand the law that was passed in Missouri that's really allowed Missouri to separate themselves from their competition on the recruiting trail. And that's that if you're a prospect in the state lines and you commit to Missouri, you're eligible to start receiving name, image, and likeness benefits while you're in high school, so long as you've signed a financial aid agreement. And a financial aid agreement isn't your national letter of intent. It's something you can sign the moment you commit. So this is something that has positioned Missouri in a little bit of a unique situation. Now, anytime we talk about the new era of recruiting, including the transfer portal and name, image, and likeness, we know that everything is going to be cutting edge. Missouri passes this law, and I think it's only a matter of time before other states follow up and pass analogous legislation. In fact, I would be surprised if Texas wasn't already attempting to do something, because this is a competition-driven sport. And if some state has an ability to do something that gives them a competitive edge, you can bet your bottom dollar every other state is going to be scrambling, trying to figure out how they can, at the very least, match what that state legislature is doing. In the case of everybody, it's going to be figuring out how you can have your high school athletes benefit from name, image, and likeness, because there is no question this is a major advantage for Missouri, and this NIL law has been big. But it's not just the NIL law that has worked in Missouri's favor. In fact, we need to give credit where it's due. Eli Drinkwitz has been one of the most impressive coaches this year. The Missouri Tigers have been one of the most impressive teams this year. If I was to go back before the season started, many people in college football, including myself, were theorizing whether or not Drinkwitz was on the hot seat, and it looked like the answer was yes. Fast forward to where we currently sit. The answer is an overwhelming no. They have been banging out big-time wins. The offense has been fantastic, and if you are a wide receiver, it would make sense why they would garner your attention, even if they didn't have that NIL law. Because right now you're seeing a former 5-star wide receiver who is in the state, Luther Burden, put up massive numbers and be up for a Bolitnikoff. And if you're Ryan Wingo, that's right there is an admission that I don't have to go leave the state to find success. That's a huge recruiting tool for the Missouri Tigers, and one of the big reasons why this battle came down to the wire. Because Missouri really did move the needle. But credit to the Texas Longhorns, because they never gave up. They knew they wanted Ryan Wingo. They knew he would be a major piece to this recruiting class, and they kept chipping away. It's going to be phenomenally entertaining to see how recruiting continues to go, because I think we're about to see a massive wave of decommitments. I've talked about this on live streams, and I think it's about to come to fruition. And in fact, we still have the transfer portal in front of us, and already we're starting to see some names pop up into the portal before that first window comes about. So when that first window opens up, it's going to be pandemonium, and you already know we're going to be here to cover it all. Hop down to the comments, let me know what you think about this edition, because this is a huge win for Steve Sarkisian and the Texas Longhorns. That's it. See you.